Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, good people. We are back. We are back. We are back. And yes, for those, yes, I did, you know, thank you. Thank you in advance. Thank you. Want to give a shout out to Braids by Chris, who did all these wonderful braids, small business owner on IG, hooked me up, and I'm so happy. So I have like this protective hairstyle for women of color. You know what it is. We just need our hair to be taken care of. And so that is me. But welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. My name is Anita Pierce. I am the host and producer of this show where we focus specifically on what it looks like in entrepreneurship. We are here um, spreading all this information about what it looks like behind the scenes. As you can see in the video, the person behind the scenes didn't tell me to pull out my afro. I was a little, but that's a part of my process. And so there you have it. Entrepreneurship is not for punks, it is not for the faint of heart, but it does allow us to be able to create these dreams and turn them into long term generational wealth that we believe is for ourselves and also for our family. So, I have the best seat in the world, I believe, where I get to interview those entrepreneurs, business colleagues who have the courage to come on and talk about their process and what makes them tick and what makes their dream and building their reality within the space in which they operate. So, guess what? Guess who I have today? I have Miss Chanel Spencer. But I'm going to look at my other screen because I need to read this bio. I think that when you're listening and learning about how dope and amazing entrepreneurs are, it bears like when you read over what they've accomplished so far, you often wonder, is it imposter syndrome? What is it? What is it that causes them to really break through and do these things that they have written on paper and have stepped outside of their bounds to create and bring their gifts to the world? That's what Chanel is doing. Born and raised in New York City, Chanel is a service oriented professional with a focus in on hospitality. Built a career in the hotel industry from the ground up, rising from the front desk to general manager within a major hotel chain. So, customer service in detail and hospitality is prime for Chanel. She is a woman on a mission. Most recently transitioned out of the corporate world to take courage to jump into this full-time dream of entrepreneurship. So we're really going to really unpack that, because when you are transitioning from the workforce and transitioning from a steady paycheck, steady income to now you got to go out and earn, it looks a lot different, and we're going to really unpack what that looks like. And it is Chanel's goal to empower women to achieve their biggest dreams. With a growth mindset, Chanel focuses on assisting 6 and 7 figure emerging companies who are challenged with increasing efficiency, productivity, and GOP in different revenue streams. She is a best-selling author, y'all. So I love to hear more about what this CEO mama, right, aka CEO mama, is gonna come through with. She is the CEO of Maximum Evolution, and so I know you want to see all this goodness in his hair, but let's bring Chanel up. Hey, Miss Spencer, how are you? I can't hear you on
You know,
mute.
I was gonna start talking. I'm like, I muted myself just in case. Hi, beautiful people. So excited to be here.
Well,
Hi.
we so excited to have you too.
Hi. That
So
first of all, the way you read the bio, I was like, yes, because I love like some people read it and it's just like they're reading like a story. You read it and was like interact. I was like, yes, it was so good. Thank you. You
you're,
just
you're,
got
you're
to
you're welcome because all this awesomeness, why not? So I want to jump right into it. So you have an extensive background in hospitality,
it.
but tell us a little bit of something that's not within your bio.
So I've had a lot of adversity in life. And so I've dealt with a lot of domestic violence and
Mhm.
trauma and pain in that way. And so I had to go through a healing journey in order to become the person that you see today, to
Mhm.
become the person that achieved becoming a general manager by 30, the person to be a great mom, the great person to be a bestseller, best-selling author, and to run an organization. And I share that story. As a so people understand that you don't have to necessarily be perfect, or that you don't necessarily have to come from wealth or different backgrounds, and you can have challenges and you can overcome and you can be whoever it is that you want to be in the world.
Facts. Facts.
Let's I love how you understand because
Like so nothing is perfect here. Let's be real clear about that, everybody. We all have stories that propel us into reaching out and reaching deep within side of ourselves, because this process that we're going through, and we're going to really unpack it, really requires that we have courage, right? And I mean, when we say we walking around with baggage and still trying to be CEOs and mothers, and dealing with all this stuff, this is what it looks like from the our perspective, right? So I know I wasn't, for myself, I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. Didn't really have this as like the top of mind of being an entrepreneur. I was just really much um ultimately just trying to live and live in whatever varying circumstances that we have. But I'm thankful, and I'm thankful for Chanel for sharing that. So salute to you, sis.
Thank you. Thank you.
Salute to you. So the reason for starting these diverse businesses that you have. Let's see, where do you want to go? Because you are a best-selling author,
Mhm.
you are a coach. Like, let's talk about that.
You mean where I want to go for like the future, or you mean like for next year? Because
All right. So I mean, well, we could start from big picture, then come back.
right.
It's up to you. How do you want to tell your story? You own it.
Yeah, so for me, for big picture, I'm a visionary, and so I always visualize where I want to be and the lifestyle I want to live, and what I want things to look like from a environment and all areas of life perspective. And so, from a business standpoint, I want to have a multi-million-dollar business for sure. I want to have. I'm building out my publishing company. I'm building out um, my consulting services. I'm building out my children's company and all those other pieces. So, them being lucrative and being multi-million-dollar businesses and building a legacy and breaking generational cycles and all those other pieces is where I see myself from a visionary standpoint. There's some other things that I'm not ready to share yet because, mind your business. I just some things you just can't share yet because they're in your mind and you want to gain clarity in what you want it to be. But I want to be able to help masses. I want to help the masses, whether you want to start a business, whether you are running a business, whether you are a multi-million dollar business already, and you just need some help in any kind of way, that's literally what I want to do. And I want to be a millionaire by tomorrow. Yes.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yes, yes,
And so
yes.
when you decided to go into entrepreneurship full time, why? And what did that look like for you?
Yes. So back in 2016, I got a life coach, and she helped me to really transform myself in dealing with the past traumas that I had. And so she actually spoke over me that I would be an author and I would be a speaker and that I would have a business. And I was just looking at her like, girl, what are you talking about? I'm an accounting manager. Like, what are we talking about? Right. And then that's when I realized, hey, I want more for myself. I've always wanted more for myself no matter what. But in her helping me to heal and her helping me to find my blind spots and really truly be the best version of myself, I wanted 10 times more. So the things that I felt were impossible, I was like, I want. So I'm like, I'm going to be a GM and sit in an accounting manager position, right? But I worked diligently. In less than a year and a half, I was a GM, right? And then in doing that, I felt like I hit my ceiling. And then being behind those closed doors and dealing with CEOs and VPs and all those high level executives, I realized, like, what are we really doing here? Like, we're working so diligently to help build the legacy of other people. Is it, or in building the wealth of other individuals? I want that for myself. And I can't sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to have my son come and be the VP tomorrow. Like, I don't have that opportunity or that chance in being in those board meetings or being in those spaces. And then also the challenges that I face with being a Black woman, I was just like, I'm just gonna go build my own company so that I can create opportunities where you don't have to feel like you're being marginalized. You don't have to feel like you're being disrespected. You don't feel like you're lowering your standards to get another dollar or to get a salary or to help to build somebody else's legacy. Well, listen, you can come help me build mine, but I'm gonna help you build yours too. Just saying. Hmm. Yes.
So you made this transition.
Yes.
And so what did your initial transition cost look like for you?
Cost in like my lifestyle or cost in like starting the business or
Okay,
both?
let's talk about both because
Mm.
what we don't like to talk about is how we used to have the corporate accounts, and we used to be able to have like expense accounts, and we used to be, well, we could eat meals as a business owner, but we're not like, just running up checks like, you know.
You bawling for lack of better term. Exactly. So for me, to be very honest, I didn't necessarily have a financial plan. I literally just was like, I'm tired, I'm burnt out,
Mm.
I have no more to give to these people. It's literally a decision between choosing myself or the job. And for the first time in my life, self-love and self-care was at the number one for my list. And so I walked away and I gave my resignation letter. I made a decision like the Monday and I sent my resignation letter on the Wednesday, literally. And so for me, I thankfully I built an investment portfolio and I was able to utilize those funds to help me to continue to invest in my business, because I had to invest in learning, I had to invest in my growth, I had to invest in building my business operationally. And so that's what helped me to kind of get through that time, because even though I walked away, I still had work that I needed to do within myself in evolving and healing, because that corporate life was definitely traumatic for me, to be very honest, with the racism and the discrimination that I dealt with. And so I needed to have time to just heal, to do self-care, to self-love, to do transformation, and to rebuild myself, but also build a better version of me so that I could be the CEO of my own company as well.
So I know y'all hear this, right? And it bears repeating
Mhm.
because the self work is not optional,
Mhm.
right? You have to care, even more so as an entrepreneur. We are trending what I call on self-care. It's
Mhm.
not optional. You have to build in understanding what doesn't feel good to your body, mind, body, and spirit.
Mhm.
um you have to know when you need to take breaks. In fact,
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, you have to build in breaks for yourself, and
Mhm.
that sometimes means looking at who you are, what, building in time for the ebbs and flows of your business, maybe during the downtime. You may want to use that as time for self-care, or just doing it monthly, weekly, or whatever your budget lends to. But it's
Mhm.
not optional, specifically if you come from experiences where it wasn't kind, it was always what I call abusive to spirit, in those certain spaces. And when you come out, you're wounded. And so you can't go from, it's almost like a relationship. You got to take time to heal.
Mhm.
So
Yes, 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 yes. We're on the same page. It's literally that, right? And also it was also the understanding of who I was in that role, right? At the end of the day, the person that I was in corporate was a direct reflection of myself as well, my own self-value, my own self-worth, right? And so I used to work 18-hour days, like 7 days a week. Like it was nonstop. I don't get me wrong, I loved my job 100%. And clearly I was with the same company for my entire hospitality career. So I grew with them. But then I realized there were still areas of opportunity for myself that I needed to work on, right? Like why did I work 18 hours? What did I feel like I had to prove? Why did I feel so much pressure on myself? And doing the work so that I'm not recreating that within my own life and in my own business, right? And so it was very important to me. So even in now, I analyze everything. I analyze friends, I analyze relationships, I analyze business partnerships, I analyze clients, all of that, because I'm on a mission not to recreate or or recreate the experiences that I had from a corporate perspective, but also making sure that they're aligning with the purpose of my life, but also with the version that I am today, right? If I feel like I'm settling, or if I feel like I'm accepting something that's less than within business, it's a no for me. I don't care how much you pay me.
so I wanna follow up on something that you mentioned about
Mhm.
understanding why you felt like you needed to work so many hours. Is it because you are a woman of color and we are going on this tagline that we need to work harder, smarter, faster, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Or what was it that you discovered?
It was all of those things. It was me feeling like I had no room for error because I was a Black woman. It was me feeling like I had to prove that I was worth being in the position, because every time somebody saw me, they thought I was a housekeeper, they thought I was the guest service agent, they thought I was everything but the GM. It was within myself and me showing my value, if that makes sense. And so it was all of those things. But also on top of that, I'm just hardworking and I'm very dedicated at what I do, and I always like to be 10 steps ahead, and I like to always make sure I cross my T's and dot my I's. So I'm like that in general, but then the pressure was on me 10 times more because of the environment that I was in, and also the people that I felt that I was dealing with, and how much work I had to put just to even get the GM position as well. And so it's just a lot of different things when you are a person, where you're intelligent or people feel threatened by you. There's people that just want to find some way to dim your light. So it was just a bunch of different things that I was battling. And so I felt like I always had to be on, and I didn't have any room or opportunity for mistake.
And I'm looking to change that within myself. I don't
Yes,
teach my daughter that at all,
yes, yes.
about that, how she has to be 10 times faster. She's
Yes.
fast anyway, right?
Right,
In general,
right.
just and so hearing that made me think about, some of my whys and what I need
Mhm,
to work on, because the truth is, and this is the truth, this is no
mhm,
shade to anybody else. The truth is, when you come to businesses of color, like we do good work. We really do good work. It's just that the opportunity and exposure is a little bit different. But we
mhm,
do really dope work.
mhm,
We're on time. We
mhm,
show up.
mhm,
We over deliver a lot of times when
mhm,
we really don't have to, but when we look at our counterparts, sometimes they're just doing bare minimum and they're getting paid the maximum for their services. So
mhm,
I've learned to kind of just, keep that in mind, that when I show up, I'm supposed to be there, and that when I am there, I'm still giving who I am, the best that I am. And that doesn't mean that I have to outplay you. I just have to know how to be strategic in what I'm doing.
right,
And that's where I sit right now,
right.
because I'm not too old to be running.
Listen, we're on the same page. I'm in a place in space where I don't want to do anything extra. Like I'm now in a mindset. I'm not in a mindset of scarcity or lack,
Mhm. Right.
and in the mindset of abundance. And what is for me will be for me, and I don't have to fight nail and tooth to get it. And it's just everything is coming easily, and I'm attracting the right people and the right opportunities and the right things. And so that mentality, that corporate mentality of having to fight to get to for a seat at the table, that has gone and left. And you're absolutely right in raising my children. It's the same thing. That's why I'm going so hard, because I don't want them to have to ever deal with what I dealt with from a corporate perspective, or feel like they have to be 100 times better, or have to break down doors and barriers to get like the simplest thing that should just be a normal thing that you get. And so that's my why. Honestly, it's because I'm building a legacy for them, so they don't ever have to ever feel how I did when I had to deal with the corporate world.
And we're definitely not saying, Chanel and I are definitely not saying that there are not any barriers.
Right.
It's just the perspective and our mindset shift as to how we are entering the spaces in which we want to enter in. It's no longer,
Mhm.
to Chanel's point, like we feel like we gotta show up like this, or we gotta put on hoodies and Tims, or we gotta straighten our hair just to enter into specific spaces. We
Yeah.
showing up as we are as CEOs of our
Mhm.
own businesses,
Yeah.
and knowing that we're bringing our best, and you are going to get some amazing work if you choose to do business with either one of us. So
Yes, that whole part.
that whole part and all of that. So now that you have this wonderful business, right? So you
Mhm.
are a business coach, in terms of becoming an author, right?
Mhm.
So you have a life coach, you have what I call a circle of OGs surrounding you,
Right.
to help you support your goal. What does the transition into being an author look like, and how does that work? Like, if someone wanted to, follow footsteps,
Mhm.
become an author, what could that look like from you teaching them and showing them what the process looks like?
Right. So a lot of people want to become an author, and it's really a great thing, to be very honest. But I will say that in being an author for me wasn't necessarily that I was going to become a millionaire from becoming an author, right? It
Mhm.
was more for me to expand my reach as a business owner, but also to help people. And so when I wrote my books, I'm now like a 22-time author at this point.
Can we
Thank
pause
you.
on that for a second? Let's pause on that. Like, I like how we go. "Nom, nom, 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 nom."
Right. Right. Thank you. Yes. Um, and so majority of those books that I was a part of, I was a co-author in, and they actually helped me to get my footing to have my own publishing company. And so last year I published 4 books under my publishing company by myself, and I created about 35 authors with 2 of those book projects. And it was amazing. And in being an author and writing a book, it can be a challenge, right? Because you have to get the content together and all those other pieces. But once you get it done and you get that book in your hand, it's just like heaven in a box. It really is. It really is. As a matter of fact, let me see if I have any of my books.
I know you got some. You better have at
I have
least
this
2.
one. This one just came out. Actually, I don't know if you can see it.
Yep, we can see
Was
that.
a part of this one. I am right here.
Your voice matters.
Yes. And then I was in this one last year too, or this year.
It's First
Um,
Class Life Devotional.
mhm.
Mhm,
That was
yep,
that was with Jesus. This was the first book that I published under my own publishing company. Can you see it? I don't know. Oh, the blue is messing it up.
right.
And so I have probably by the end of next year, I'll publish 10 more. Mhm. Yes. Like, not that fast.
So, Chanel is like not that face because when you have like the behind the scenes conversations, you're like, I'm not an author. No. And when you meet someone who is an author, I'm looking at them like,
I can help you, girl. I'm telling you.
You are gonna help me. Like that's on my to that like so we were talking earlier about to-do lists and we're sharing, some tools and tips which we're gonna talk about later, just how we navigate stuff. And I have to tell you, like it's one of those things. So this is what makes this also so dope for me, right? So when we can share, right, and be like, look, here's this tip, so that your learning curve will not be as long as ours. That's the whole purpose of this, right?
Mhm.
Willing to share what our challenges are, but also, cheering your sister on like I ain't even got one. She got double digits. Like, come through, Chanel, please. Like, just that's an accomplishment in itself, right? Again, we're not talking about and actually in hearing, you didn't say you want to be a New York Times bestseller, right? You didn't say that. You have other reasons for doing it, which makes it a part of your personal success and your
Yeah.
journey on the
Mhm.
road to entrepreneurship. And
Yeah.
that's what makes this so amazing because no blueprint is the same. And that's
Right.
the truth.
Right. I'm not gonna make it worse, but my children are published authors as well, so they have. So I we wrote two illustration books together and one activity like puzzle book and then two coloring books. So my children are published authors as well.
Mm.
Mhm. I'm not trying. I was just saying when I said earlier in building legacy, like, yeah, I started a business and a company for my children. And so we had like brainstorming meetings and they had the final execution and say on final designs and ideas and all that stuff because as I'm being a business owner, I want to get their wheels turning in the same way as well. And so that's what they wanted and that's what I created for them. And yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to be a New York Times bestseller. And to be very honest, even being a bestseller, it's really great and it looks great optically, right? But when you can like really make money off your book by selling it directly, then that's a whole nother ball game.
So
Mhm.
that's why we gotta have you come back to talk about that
I cannot. Let's I
because
okay. So Anita was talking about earlier how we share resources. This is why I am obsessed with her. A lot of times when you're on the entrepreneur or business owner journey, it's you feel like you're by yourself and you kind of feel like it's just like you're throwing things at the wall and hoping that it sticks, or you're like it's like a trial and error kind of situation. And the first time in the first conversation that I had, I told her, this is what I want to do and this is what I need help with. And she gave me all of the answers, and there was no like funny, like, sometimes you meet people and it's just like they give you like just a little bit of sugar and just a little bit, one part of the recipe and not enough. She was like, girl, here's the whole thing. Like, go do what you gotta do, go win and be happy. And I love people that are like that because I'm one and the same. Like you said, we share tips and resources, and it's very rare to find people like that. So you are phenomenal, and I appreciate you in real life.
and
Mhm.
so Chanel and I met because as I've been promoting, can I disclose how we met? Is
Yes,
that okay?
okay,
Well, I'm a score mentor and I always tell folks, right, that there are many ways of entry points. You can hire me privately, but Chanel and I met because I'm a score mentor with a program that's funded through the SBA. And it's out there and it's for free. You get the same type of Anita as a private coach, what you get as a mentor with SCORE. Only difference is that, with SCORE, since I do it as a volunteer, I want to make sure that, there's time allocated for my other stuff that I have to do in my business, but still making sure that I'm intentional about, my give back. So we met and Chanel wanted to know about the MWBE certification because I'm certified at both the city and state of New York for contracting. And I shared my story about, what my process looked like at the beginning of this year to where it is now. And I have to tell you, like, why I get chills about this story because it's like, someone was telling me, no, 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 no. You got to change your name. You got to do this. You got to do all these things, not be who you are. And no, I'm going to put you on a couple of contracts that never happened. And the moral of my story, which I will share in a whole different episode, is that you really have to have the courage to believe in yourself.
Mm,
And that's
mhm,
1000% of this
mhm,
journey of entrepreneurship. You're gonna get a
mhm,
lot of people that tell you no.
mhm,
You're gonna get a lot of people that walk away from the process. You're gonna get a lot of people that don't believe in
mhm,
your ability, and that's not for them. It's for you to decide how bad you want it in this process.
mhm.
And so, when Chanel came to me as it was supposed to be a co-mentoring session, but looks like Chanel gonna stick with me. Um, and it's
I
like
don't mind. She's amazing.
I've just been very transparent on what that process looked like, in terms of like, some of the contracts that I received to now what's happening, to my lows, my highs within the space. But, overall it's about consistency. If I don't believe in myself, ain't nobody gonna do it. Nobody is forcing me to do this. Nobody is, I can lay in bed for the rest of the month. I choose not to because I have like things that I know that I want to accomplish.
Mhm,
22 2022 is here. We may
mhm,
not, most of us are just be grateful to be here, but
mhm,
we're here. We have to figure out what we want to do with it. But this
mhm.
ain't about me. This is really about us learning and exchanging with Chanel. But that's how we met. I'm a score mentor. Chanel took an opportunity to link up with me, and I'm happy to have her. Period. So
Mhm.
carry on.
And this is why I love her because I'm from New York too, as you know, and so the facts and the energy, like it's big New York energy, big New
You want
York.
me to do Europe? Oh, I do that too. Sorry. I get from Brooklyn, Brownsville. And I still could get in a corporate attire if I choose to, and walk in a boardroom
We can do it all.
and run numbers. I used to be able to do a crossover too, and I'm somebody's mama. But back to this episode.
Oh
So,
my gosh. Mhm.
yeah, so let's get back into like, so you have like this whole empire that you're building,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Um, what were some of the challenges that did you have any challenges in like starting up, being an author? Because I know it wasn't all smooth. I mean, you make it look smooth, but
Yeah. No. So she said, "Did I have challenges?" That's not the question. Like what challenges? But yes, I did. So a lot of it was learning. There was a lot that I had to learn. So from the end of 2019 to for like majority of 2020, I was learning. Like I was signing up for classes, I was signing up for educational things, I was taking trainings, webinars, all the things. I was building my network. I was building partnerships. I was investing my time so that I can convert it to dollars. And so in publishing last year, we were talking about perfection, right? I'm gonna say I am a recovering perfectionist. so, so I the first book, Warriors Paradigm, I sat on it for like a year and change. I had the cover changed, the title changed, everything changed. That the cover that I showed you was not the original. That was not the original name either. I had it edited like 5 or 6 times because I was just like, nope, it has to be perfect. And then I finally just got tired of myself. Like, girl, if you don't release that book and let go of the limiting thoughts or the fear or whatever it is that's holding you back from getting this done, please just do it. And so I launched that book, and then me launching that book, it then got the attention of several different people. And that's when I did the other two books where I think I had 17 authors, no, 18 authors on one, and then 19 authors on the other. And the challenges that I did with that I learned with that was one, people management. Don't get me wrong. I had 72 employees when I was a GM, but that's a whole nother beast when you have people that you're working with directly within your company. Because one, now you have the option to deal with them. Like you could just be like, oh, kicking you off the project, goodbye. Like no HR necessary, right? So, so that was one of the challenges. Was understanding that everybody is not ready to drink the water. Not everybody is ready to be the best version of themselves. So removing people and adding people, whether it was within this book project or from a partnership perspective and all those other pieces. That was definitely a challenge. I was my own challenge. majority of the challenge was myself, just being very honest. And so I had a lot of work to do within my mindset. That was definitely a challenge as well, more from a fear of failure, fear of success combo. And yeah, and then there was the technical challenges, right? Amazon wouldn't let me be great. I'd created I one of the books, I made an audio book as well, and that wouldn't let me be great. So it was just technical challenges, yes, but then also the biggest challenge was myself, to be very honest. I could blame everything else if I want to, but it was me. Me. Hi. Yes.
Hi, I'm me.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we have this opportunity to be able to talk about how do you manage your operations? Like, what are the tools that you use to help you to run day to day?
Mhm.
What does that look like? In terms of like email systems, and
Mhm.
what do you do? What do you use for yourself?
I use HoneyBook for my communication. I use Google Drive. I use QuickBooks. I use a lot. I use a lot of Google. Google is everything. I use GoDaddy. I use what else? What else? My cell phone. My cell phone is life. My daughter thinks that I'm just scrolling and having fun, and I'm like, no, honey. I'm talking to a client. I'm on social media trying to get to the bag. Like, I don't just do, like she's on, people go on TikTok and they scroll for 44 hours. No, no, no. If I'm engaging on social media, it's all strategy because I'm trying to expand my reach. Like, it's not like I'm just, sometimes, don't get me wrong, you do a mindless scroll, but for the most part, my phone is life, like for real, because I can do everything on my phone. Um, what else do I use? I use a lot of different things. I said QuickBooks. Oh, Trello. I use Trello to do project management. And I use a bunch of other different things as well. Hmm.
So I'm typing a list.
Hmm.
I use Asana,
Hmm.
Canva,
Oh. Hmm. Hmm.
and QuickBooks. I use um, all the Google Drives.
Hmm. Google
Uh,
Drive is amazing. Like,
yeah, you can do sheets and
hmm.
all the other stuff. So I'm gonna put those up there so that you can kind of like see, like some of the tools that we use to kind of help us with, our day to day management. The other thing too is Google Voice,
Oh,
right?
can we just
So
give a shout out to Google Voice? Let me tell you something. Whoever made you have to announce who is calling, and you could just be like, no, thank you. Apple, can you please do the same thing? Like, the phone service people, please, please. That's like that's really great. Sorry, guys. And
we
one thing that you said. So, all right. So, from a vision standpoint, what I would like to create is my own software with all of that. And continue. Hmm.
and so that's gonna be up next for Chanel and her big visioning. But yeah, that's how we are. Some of these services are for free.
Hmm.
Start off with a
Hmm.
lot of the free services.
Yes.
If you are a nonprofit, and this is where I have to like, kind of nudge some of my nonprofit clients and telling them
Hmm.
to utilize, some of the benefits of being a 501c3. You get a lot of
Hmm.
stuff for free, like for real. You really don't have to
Mm.
pay a lot of the
Mhm.
fees, but most just for some strange reason do not. Um, until I force them because they have to deal with their operations a little bit differently, like it is a true business.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
the other thing I wanted to mention, you talked about HoneyBooks. HoneyBooks is used is that
Yep.
like a CRM, customer relationship management system that you use?
Yes. So it's great because it helped because you have to create boundaries. Like, sometimes people pay you and then they think they own you and stuff like that. So like you have to create boundaries and you have to streamline your process, especially if you want to scale. And so HoneyBook helped me to do that. So I do all of my communication with HoneyBook. You can create your automation with HoneyBook as well. You can create workflows with HoneyBook. You can invoice. You can do contracts within HoneyBook as well. So it's been really beneficial in that way.
So the other thing about Google Voice is
Hmm.
that when you are starting up a business, you can maintain yes, your personal cell phone doesn't have to be public. Cell phones. I mean, I don't have Oprah's number, but you know what I mean. Like
Yes.
it. You can utilize these things as if you when you're starting out. You
Mhm.
don't have to have like a 1-800 number. As your business grow,
Yeah.
you can transition over, but having a Google Voice number that does allow the introduction to happen, because I promise you, my warranty on my car, those type of calls I've been getting is very annoying. Like, hey, this is Susan. Hey, Susan, and you're like, your warranty, and I'm like, what? Click. Like that happens most frequently. So we want to make sure that you have, some sort of barrier, in order to help you until you get into a virtual assistant, until you have all these other things to help you to build business.
Yes.
Um, QuickBooks for finances.
Mhm.
So I think you all know, uh, keep your personal and your business separate, right?
Mhm.
QuickBooks does help to manage that. And again, we're not receiving sponsorships yet, although we,
Yes.
we
I
might
like
as
that.
well, put in
Mhm.
the ass, right?
Mhm.
With Google, the system, you can do things that I learned recently from a few team members that you can schedule meetings, but you can also schedule emails. So
Mhm.
there are days when I'm scheduling all of my email responses because some days it's just like that. And
Mhm.
I have to tell you, that's the best thing that I learned, where
Mhm.
I'm not, it looks like I'm killing it for the day, but I'm really working on projects instead of, sitting there, toggling back and forth with emails.
Yes.
Another useful tool, Calendly. Calendly, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mhm.
Helps with, again, sometimes double booking,
Mhm.
can help. You can schedule it. You can click on a link and folks can meet with you that way. In addition to utilizing the other services such as Zoom and also, what is it, Google Meets, to be able to accommodate your business meetings. So there are a number of ways that you can come up without having it cost you, such a large bank for your buck.
Yes.
What else did I forget, Chanel? Because I know you got something else.
No, you definitely said a lot of it, honestly. Like my brain is like, but there's a lot of different things that you can utilize. And like you said, and from a startup cost, like, there's so many platforms and things that you can use, and but they're like so expensive. So you want to be cost efficient so that one, your profit is a little bit stronger, I'm just saying. But also because from an expense standpoint, you don't want to like overextend yourself from a financial standpoint where you can find other ways to make things happen now. And then also like you were talking about like with the VAs and those other pieces, there's ways that you can get people on your team for less. And when I say that, not less from a quality of work, but less from a expense that you're paying out, right? And so that you can get these things done. And when you were talking about like the emails, I call that MWA. I read it in a book, and I can't remember what the book was. It was such a good book. I think it was a 4-hour work week. And
Mm,
MWA is minimum wage activity, right? And that's the
mm,
things that aren't necessarily income driving. So you want to find ways so that you can get those things off of your plate so that you can that's why I forgot about Canva, because I used to sit there and do my own designs and for 5 hours sitting here like I don't like how the logo looks. Now just pay somebody like a little whatever it is to get it done, because sometimes it's easy and better for you to just pay the dollar so that you're saving time so that you can actually make more money. So yes.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So as we are wrapping up, right? That means you have to come back. You absolutely positively have to come back
But yeah,
to
she's stuck with me for life,
share
just so you know.
to share.
I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back.
You don't have any choice at this point. So, what are some realistic tips that you can offer for someone who wants to like just jump right in? What are like
Mhm.
5 things that you could offer? 3 to 5 things that you can offer.
First, mindset. Make sure you work on yourself. I'm, I don't care if it's therapy. I don't care if you get a life coach, whatever it is. Make sure your mindset that you're in the right place, that you're taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's number one. Number two, get your idea and write it down. Right? Like sometimes I'll say it for myself. Analysis paralysis. When you're creative, when you're a visionary, every 5 seconds you have different ideas and different things downloaded to you, and then you do nothing, right? So get your ideas and write them down. Write them down, right? Then I say goal setting with those ideas. Create realistic goals. And I'm talking to myself because I'll be making goals that are just ridiculous because I just do too much sometimes. But but get write down realistic goals. What do you want to do annually? And from that annual goal, what do you want to do quarterly? And then from that quarterly goal, what do you want to do monthly? And what do you want to do on a day-to-day basis to attain that annual or 3-year, 5-year goal? That was 3, right? Yes. 4, find the right people, connect with the right people. When I say right people, there are so many people in this world, but there are so many of the wrong people as well. So make sure people are aligned to you, aligned to your purpose, have your best interest at heart, network, connect with like-minded individuals, and grow your network 150%. And then the last piece, self-care. Okay. Self-care is the most important part is self-care. So make the time to have to meditate, to have a bath, to go for a walk, and do the things that you really enjoy, because thank you, self-care is not optional at all. And I had to learn that the hard way, to be very honest, because burnout is not fun. Mm-hmm.
Right. So we come to the other fun part uh that I like to do, the rapid fire one word answers.
Oh boy. God, I'm excited. I thought we were gonna do a dance. I was ready to do choreography. I'm kidding.
No, I'm not standing up right now. It's not a good stand up day behind the Zoom. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what's
Yeah.
your favorite borough?
The Bronx. BX stand up all day. Mm-hmm. Not that face.
Okay, this is a first.
I'm from the Bronx. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. BX all day. Like, yes, the Bronx. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I love the city because I've worked in the city my entire majority of my life, right? But the Bronx.
okay,
Hmm.
with confidence. What do you do in your downtime?
Oh, I meditate. I love to like go out and to like eat and go to restaurants. I love to travel. Like I love to travel. Mm.
So make sure you check out the Instagram and see what Chanel's gonna be traveling at. What do you do in your spare time?
Oh, my spare time.
Mhm.
I spend time with my kids, to be honest, and I spend time with this. My, sometimes you meet amazing people, and I met an amazing man, and so I try to spend as much time as possible with him, and of course, my children and family. Hmm.
Mhm. Okay. Pizzas or burgers?
Pizza.
Chocolate, what kind?
Oh, okay, so there's a specific chocolate that I like. It's white chocolate and it's from England and it's called Milky Bar. So if you ever go to England, make sure you bring me back some. Thank you in
Okay,
advance.
you're welcome. I didn't know you were a white chocolate fan. I'm a huge white chocolate fan.
Really? See? Told you.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Smoothies or ice cream?
It switched to smoothies, being on this healthy journey, I guess.
That's
Hmm.
fine. In 3 years, what will change within your personal community?
Oh, my personal. A lot.
And
Um,
that is a good answer. Do you want to
yeah.
elaborate? Now I'm curious.
Yes. When you say personal, I think of like close people that are within my proximity, and so in seeing my growth and seeing my success, I feel like it will inspire others to want the same, and so I expect for there to be substantial growth and substantial breaking of generational cycles and all those other pieces really soon. So yeah. Mhm.
Final two questions. What
Mhm.
is the best thing that you appreciate about who you are today?
You had to go there. So for me, I would say my journey, to be very honest. Um, I used to resent my journey with all the things that I went through and all the things that I experienced from a negative space. But to be very honest, if I didn't go through those things, I wouldn't be where I am today and building the things that I'm building today. So definitely my journey. Mhm.
And the legacy in which you will leave for your family.
So the legacy that I want to leave or that I'm leaving is definitely wealth. Okay, definitely wealth. Um, um, the breaking of barriers and removing any ceiling, right? And creating opportunity and mm, wow, that makes me very emotional. Can you change the question?
It's okay.
Right,
Of course.
and, like, for me, the legacy is I always talk about it, is breaking generational cycles, breaking generational traumas, everybody understanding their value, everybody understanding their worth, and hiring and increasing their expectations as well as their standards, and definitely building generational wealth, and when I say wealth, I mean in all ways, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and, especially financially, because when you are financially wealthy, then it allows you to create resources to do all the other things that you want to do in life. And so, definitely, definitely.
Hashtag financial wellness is my
Mhm.
joint. So, in wrapping up, where can we find you?
You can find me at Chanel Spencer Now on everything on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. My website, you can go to buildingbrandsnow.com. And then also I have maxevolve.com. But find me on Instagram. I'm forever on Instagram and I'm forever on Facebook. And LinkedIn, I'm starting to get onto the LinkedIn track because, that's where my peoples are. So I'm excited. Hmm.
And so to book Chanel to schedule a complimentary business consultation, please consider booking. Yeah, better book. Um, but also, as an author, we have a free ebook.
Hmm.
I like freebies.
Yes.
But also, consider actually financially supporting a small business,
Yes.
because that is the truth. Like, yes, we do
Mhm.
offer complimentary free. Some folks may be against it. No, don't offer it. Blah, 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 blah. Your time is your time. But, folks, you have to figure out your pathway within the space of which you want to enter into.
Yes.
Um, you know, you don't you I mean, I'm probably going against about a grain about what I say, but there are always services that you can take advantage of. Meaning, if you want to meet with Chanel, don't abuse the 20 minutes though. And that's what I say. You can definitely take the opportunity to get to know whether her price range is for you, but do
Mhm.
not abuse it. And what I mean by that is don't try to book, 20,000 questions because we do know how to invoice after 20
Oh,
20 minutes.
you took you took the words right out of my mouth. 21 minutes. Expect the invoice. I'm just kidding. I'm not that bad. But yeah, we on the same page. And there's one other. Oh, I forgot one other tip before we go.
Mhm.
Outsource. Outsource as much as you possibly can. Like, yes, we want to be in the nitty gritty, but like I said, with the MWA, you want to outsource as much as you possibly can so that you can get to what you want to do and get to where you want to be quicker, sooner, faster. So,
And so here we go. Information, reach out. Don't hesitate. And when you book Chanel, be like, hey, I saw you on that show. You was looking pretty amazing too. And congratulations. Can you teach me? And then we will send you an invoice after the time that has been allocated. So that is business. And thank you so much, Chanel, for coming and talking and sharing. We think that you are amazing. We, meaning me, am like your biggest now cheerleader and wish you, you know, much more success as you have going on to your journey. And, of course, you're going to be seeing me in other ways because now we're stuck together
yeah.
and boom, that's
Yeah.
it.
I'm excited. I appreciate this opportunity and I appreciate you and all that you do. And I felt like we were divinely connected and now we won't be apart.
There we go. I done grabbed somebody else's child in my circle. So, all right. So I guess I'm that magnet again. So Thank you so much. I'm gonna
Mhm.
close out the show with some
Yeah.
information. We'll see you again soon, Chanel. Take good care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So see what I told y'all? These are some amazing conversations. And you know what? I'm not going to leave y'all without, just sharing some additional information. But also, I didn't put in the notes, but the EDIL loan, if you have not applied, you have up until December 31st to actually take advantage of it. That particular loan is funded through the SBA. It is a I forgot the percentage that it's at, but the ending date is December the 31st. Wanted to also plug some grants that are still in existence, specifically within New York City, that you have an opportunity. They are still available, that you can take an opportunity for, if you do qualify. And here's what the qualifications are, is really just making sure that you have your business structure in order, your statement, filing your taxes, making sure that you've actually filed and actually registered within the states that you exist in order to be able to compete for these specific grants. So that's usually the bare minimum, and then actually the actual application of each of these grants that are available. Wanted to also plug that there are fine resources through the NAACP. There is Hello Alice has a grant that's available for it's about $5,000 I saw. And also you can also participate through the US Black Chambers, and become certified, meaning add your business to a list, in order to be found and to be discovered. But I also like to plug some of the other chambers of commerce that do exist, within the five boroughs upstate New York. They have them nationally and also locally, within the states, and they do have a ton of resources that you can take advantage of specifically for your small business, and specifically they are free resources. Some of them, specifically within the chambers, they are membership based, but they do have programs and resources that you can take advantage of that are for free. And also, speaking of one of the local, the New York City Small Business Resource Network is a group of chambers, Brooklyn, Queens. I think all of the ones in the five boroughs have come together to provide these one-on-one resources. You can get everything from, getting your website adjusted to legal services to other. And it may take a bit for them to get to you because think about it. It's a service. We're in the midst of a pandemic and still adjusting to this. But the fact that these services do exist, put your name in a hat, take advantage of it. And when they call, be ready because it's out there. And finally, I know that Chanel and I was talking about how we met. Again, if you want to book me through Score. And I have to tell you, you may have to wait, but I'm worth the wait. And so it is a free service that you can take advantage of myself and many other mentors within it's actually across the 50 states. They have mentors all across. I happen to be based out of New York, and this is again a funded program that is for free. We are volunteers through SCORE, but I enjoy having the opportunity to be able to support and close the learning gaps of other entrepreneurs such as myself, because just as much as they learn from me and on my journey, I learned a wealth of information of things that I didn't know. So it works as a two-way street in terms of supporting one another and creating a new network to help us all grow. So on that note, I know you better like, share, and watch us again, The Real Journey of the Entrepreneur, because we have so many amazing entrepreneurs who have shared their experience with us. We do air Monday nights. You can watch it on replay on The Real Journey of the Entrepreneur or the pages of 11375. And so on that note, I want to thank you again for joining. It's been wonderful, and we're going to see Chanel again. Take good care.